So growing up in Santa Rosa, I'd always wanted to get to San Francisco because it was so close. It was in 1990 that I was introduced to house music. A friend of mine told me about this after-hours club that started at 2 a.m. It was beneath a goth club, and you had to enter from the back. And I went in there, and it was acid house music. And it was music I'd never heard before in my life. And I'd been into music, but this was incredible. It was life-changing. And people were passing around bottles of water, and there was ecstasy in the water, and that I'm sure had a lot to do with it. But it was the experience and the feeling that you had with all the other people that were there, that you were a part of something special and unique that was beginning. First paid gig in a club, and ironically it was in the basement of Big Heart City, the first club that I ever heard acid house. And so for me this was a momentous occasion. This kind of was a pinnacle in my career because this meant I was getting paid to play in the club that I had held in esteem, and it was a complete disaster. As everything I'd done up until this moment had not prepared me for playing on a club sound system. I'd learned to mix in the headphones because at this time, you just taught yourself how to mix. And I didn't use a monitor, and I didn't realize that it was necessary to use a monitor because, as I said before, we'd always done outdoor parties where the music was just, we were behind the sound went out into space, and that was it. But I went into the DJ booth, and they had the sound at the opposite side of the room facing straight back at the DJ booth, which meant there was a delay. It was extremely loud, and the DJ before me said, if you need to turn up the monitors, here's the volume. Monitors? Who needs monitors? I put my headphones on, couldn't hear a thing. And yeah, I just used the force. I didn't know if mixes were on, I didn't know if they were off. It was a horrible experience, but it was a learning experience. The DJ was kind of the backdrop to the night, and there was no such thing as the international DJ at that time. It was, you played in your home city, and if a few hundred people showed up, that was fantastic. That was the best thing possible. When one DJ switched and the next went on, you never faded out the music and waved your hands and clapped and stuff, because nobody saw the DJ. He was off in a corner. And so yeah, I mean, that was my first introduction to DJing, and I thought that's what it was. If you listen to my old tapes, it was kind of all over the place. But that was okay. That's how it was done. When I was playing stuff like James Brown is Dead next to a really deep acid house track, because to me that all worked together. And and then I'd follow it with a breakbeat or whatever. But I had a sound that I liked within that, but it wasn't defined by any genres. I think I have a distinct sound. It varies. When I open up my CD case, it can go anywhere from, deeper progressive, there's electro house, as well as full-on trance and psytrance, and everything in between. But those tracks, when put together and alongside the other ones, there is a specific sound. It can range between tempos and emotions, but I do feel that it's a specific sound. It's not just random, and it's not something that today I'm a house DJ, tonight I'm at a different club and I'm going to be a trance DJ. I think my sound is going to be consistent throughout wherever I go. I think my set begins when I walk into a venue, because each venue has a personality of its own. Not just the people, but I'm talking about the space. Whether it's a large arena, or it's a small club, whether it's got lots of lighting, whether it's predominantly dark, what the sound system is like. different venues have different sound systems, whether it's a real bright, fast sounding sound system or whether it's a deep, low, bass oriented sound system. And then I'll work off the people and I'll get a feel for what people are into at that time, because you don't want to change things up. The DJ before you've got a groove going, and you don't want to disturb people. You want to ease them into whatever you want to do later. I think with my own music, I'm a little bit more critical than I would be of other people's, but I think you have to be. And the ability to road test it and sneak it in between a couple really good tracks and see how it works is a real gift, because then I can come back and I can fix it, work on it until it does work properly on a dance floor. And that's when it comes out on the label. A lot of people today, especially young people, have moved away from religion. Music is one of those rare things that can unify people, that can speak to you on a level that you don't get with words.